Now we'll try to understand what is surplus. Okay, here we need to focus on two type of surplus. One we call as the consumer surplus and the other is the producer surplus. Okay, note that the total surplus is the sum of consumer and producer surplus. So what is consumer surplus? So consumer surplus is the additional is a benefit that the customer is getting which is over and above the price which he has paid. Okay, as we had discussed earlier that if you have this is your demand line, this is called as your marginal benefit. If the consumer is paying, let's say, a price of P, so this is the price P paid by the consumer to purchase the item. Okay, for all the items they are purchasing, they are paying price P. First product when they are buying, okay, note that the benefit that the customer is getting is this is the benefit, he has paid this as the price, so this is the surplus for the customer. Right now, as more and more product is bought by the customer, the customer surplus it starts increasing. So it starts increasing, that is for the second product this is the surplus, so the total surplus will be surplus 1 plus surplus 2, then this is the surplus from the third product and so on, right? So what we can say is if the number of the product is bought more and more, the surplus would be summation of all the individual surplus. Now to denote this in a diagram, what we can say is we can denote it by the area. Okay, so this shaded region, okay, this is the area and we call this as your consumer surplus. So the consumer surplus is bounded on the below by price. So you have this is a price, okay, right, and this is the equilibrium, this is your demand line, this is your supply line. So this is your consumer surplus item. So this area is your consumer surplus, right? Now let us see what is a producer surplus. To understand the producer surplus, we had earlier seen this is your supply graph, this is your price at which you are selling all the products. So what happens is when you sell your first product, okay, let's say this is your first product that you have sold, this is the revenue it has generated, this is a price, and it has costed this much to produce the product. So as a result, what happens is this is your producer surplus when you are selling the first quantity. As and when you sell more and more quantity, what happens is your producer surplus will keep on increasing. So it will become, this will become S2. So sum of the surplus will become S1 plus S2. Now note that because there is more surplus to be obtained when you are selling the product, you will sell more and more product till your surplus becomes 0, and beyond this point what happens is the surplus it becomes negative. There is no point in selling the item beyond it. So your surplus will be the summation of all the surplus which is here up till this point. Now when your number of quantities are large, we can say that the surplus is the area, is the total area that you have. This is your surplus, this is for the producer. So what we can say is this producer surplus is denoted over here. So the sum of consumer and producer surplus, this will be equal to your total surplus. Okay, also note that we need to understand how we can utilize the demand and supply function, and from the demand and supply function we should be able to compute the surplus. So we will solve a problem and we'll compute the surplus. This is our demand curve, demand function, and this is our supply function. We want to know what is the consumer surplus and what is the producer surplus. So to compute, we need to first compute the equilibrium. So how do we get the equilibrium? As we know that quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied at equilibrium. So what we can say is 30 minus price is equal to minus 30 plus 5 times the price. So what we can do is we can bring this over here, bring this side. So 30 plus 30, it will become equal to 5p plus p, it will be equal to 6p, and this is 60. So your price will be equal to 60 by 6, that is 10. So your equilibrium price is $10. Okay, right? So what is the quantity demanded at the equilibrium price? So you can compute, it will be 30 minus 10, that is the quantity demanded is 20. We can match it, we can again check it that quantity supplied should also be 20. Minus 30 plus 5 into 10 is the price. So this is 50 minus 30. So quantity supplied is also 20. So what we can do is we can get a diagram that we have. So we can say this is your price, this is the quantity, this is your demand function, this is your supply function. This is the quantity demanded or supplied which is 20 and the price is 10. Okay, right? So at $10 you have this is the quantity that is demanded or supplied. Now we know that this area is your consumer surplus, this area we know it is your producer surplus. So how do I get consumer surplus? It means that to get the consumer surplus I need to get the area of this triangle. So if you focus on this triangle, if I can get the area of this triangle, this will be your consumer surplus, right? So how do you get the area of this triangle? We know that this is a right angle triangle. The right angle triangle area is given as half into base into height, right? So half into base into height is what we need to compute. So what is the base? The base is very simple. This is the quantity demanded. So this was 0, this is 20, so this base will be equal to 20. So we have base is equal to 20. Okay, note that we also need to get the height. This is your height. Now how do we get the height? Okay, height would be obtained, okay, if I put a quantity. So think about it, this is your demand function. Okay, so at in the demand function, okay, in the demand function, when the quantity is becoming 0, okay, so this is the quantity becoming 0, you will reach this point, the price. So we have to get what is the price when the quantity is 0. So how you can get it? You have the demand function, 30 minus price. 30 minus price is the demand function. So what you can do is, you can say that demand function is 30 minus price. What if I put QD equal to 0? What will the price? So it will be 0 equal to 30 minus P. So your price will become equal to 30. It means that this price is 30. So I can erase this and I can say that this is equal to 30. Now if this is 30, the gap is what? 30 minus 10, so this is 20. So your height will become 20. So this we have obtained the base and height, and as a result I can get the area also, half into base into height. So this will be 10 and 200. So your this area, consumer surplus area, is 200. So this is your consumer surplus. Okay, what if I am also interested in computation of the producer surplus? So in computation of the producer surplus, what do I require? I require this area. If you see, this is the triangle that I have. For this triangle, this is 10, okay, but I do not know this, so I have to compute this height. Base is known, base will be 20 exactly, and so I have to get the height. So to get the height, again we have the same issue, that is we have to find out what is the price, okay, when the quantity supplied is 0. So that you can get from the quantity supplied function, which is minus 30. So quantity supplied is equal to minus 30 plus 5p. So what you are saying is, I will put quantity supplied as 0. I want to know what is the price. So you can put 0 equal to minus 30 plus 5p. Okay, if you solve this, the price will become 6. That means this price is your 6. So what is this height? This height is 10 minus 6, that is 4. So to compute the producer surplus, what we are saying is, height is equal to 4, base is equal to 20, and area of the triangle will be half into base into height. So you get half into 20 into 4. So this will be 40. So you get the producer surplus as 40. Right? So you got the consumer surplus as 200. Producer surplus we got as 40. So your total surplus became 240. So this is the total surplus in this function, right? So this means that both people, that is consumer and producers, they are benefiting from the trade that they are making within themselves. That is a benefit.